Okay, hello everybody on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a couple of videos, hopefully get through to the second one, about Heli Suite and music on ESCs. Now, a lot of you may have already quads that have got BL Heli 32 capability, and as you can see on the screen here, this is the BL Heli Suite. What you may or may not have done is to do anything with Music Editor, which is what this is going to be all about. If you have, you can ignore this first video. The second one I'm going to do later. I'm going to do one about how to write your own music to put in the Music Editor, so you can play pretty much whatever you want, as long as it's no more than 48 notes, because that's the limit of it. So loads of readily available stuff out there on YouTube and all sorts of resources online, but just the basics on this one: how to put the music in, roughly what it means, but not much description of that. Just a bit of a live demonstration really of how this thing works. So once you've got your BL Heli suite up, first thing you need to do, I'm pretty sure the default on this needs changing, but if you go along the top line to options, there's tick boxes. You need to make sure sync startup music to multiple ESC is unticked, because then you can put different music on each of the ESCs and make the whole thing sound a lot better, and even write a different tune on each one, so it's like playing two hands on the piano, or in fact four hands in this case, because you've got four motors, so you can make it all sound pretty funky. So once you've done that, then you need to go off and find some music. Have a look on YouTube, have a look online. You'll find something like, let me just go and check quickly on here. This is pretty easy to search for. Just put in BL Heli 32 music and you'll get loads of stuff. So we can start off with the first one on here. Have a look at this. Click on that. You don't have to play it. You can play it to have a listen if you want to, but all you need to do is have a look at the description. All of the stuff that you need to enter is here. You've got the notes with various numbers after, which I'll explain in a later video, which is basically the note duration and things like that. You've got two other bits of info that are critical, and it's usually the same on all four ESCs. You've got a general length, which is the speed of the whole piece, so you can speed it up or slow it down. You've got an interval, which is the kind of sustain of each note, which most people tend to write these on 0 or 2. I haven't seen very many that are anything other than 0 or 2, because it just sounds a bit strange when you change that. But make sure these two things, 90, 90, 90, are put in as you go through it. So we'll leave that page up, get back our BL Heli suite, connect up our flight controller, and make sure radio's turned on, because otherwise we get all sorts of error tones. What you're going to hear now is one that I put on myself yesterday that I've written from sheet music. So that's the kind of effect you're going to get. Some of these ones online are a lot more complex than what I managed to write so far, but if we just connect, read the setup we've got, it will tell us everything's good, and it'll also show that there is some music put on, and it tells you the length, which is this, like the number 9 over here, and it also tells you the interval, in which case is 0, most of them are. So to put music on, open your music editor, and if there's something in there already, take that out. Take the notes that are on here, copy that, go back to your BL Heli, paste it in, make sure music on is ticked, music off is default, so you need to tick that. Change this length to what it says on the page, which is 9. Interval 0, same as over there. And one ESC at a time works best. So make sure we've got ESC1 chosen, which we have, and you can preview that what that sounds like if you want to, but one ESC on its own might sound a bit strange. But if you're writing this yourself later and you want to think, okay, does this sound like I want it to? Is it too fast, too slow? Have I got any of the notes wrong? Okay. Sorry if that was a bit loud. The sounds from the PC do tend to come through quite loud on these recordings. So what we do next is we apply what we've just pasted in there and tick yes on the next dialog box. It will write it to the ESCs, it will tell you it's done it, and it will say nothing's happened on the other ones because we haven't done anything yet. That's pretty obvious. So that's one done. So we go back, repeat that same thing for each ESC. So ESC2, delete all that, change the interval to 9 to match what's on the YouTube comments page. Select mode to 2, copy all those notes exactly as it is. Needs to be uppercase as well, it doesn't work lowercase. Paste that in, apply, and now it's going to tell us that it's written to number 2 but nothing to the others because we're doing them one at a time. It doesn't seem to work very well, this. I'm going to carry on talking while I do the rest. Doesn't seem to work very well if you try and do all 4 together unless you know how to write the code itself, which I can go on to in lesson number 2 on a later video, because it's pretty long drawn out stuff and most people would probably have lost the will to want to watch anymore if I did all that in one go. So I'm just working through these. So I'm on motor 3, paste that in, and we'll apply. Oh, actually, I made a mistake on that one because I forgot to change. Let's just go back to it. Show you what happened. Oh no, number 2, number 3. I forgot to change the general length on there. If you do, what will happen when you play them together? ESC3 will be on a different timing, musical timing to the others, and it will sound horrible. So I'm not going to do that. So we'll make sure we change that to 9, so that matches all the others, because it's all from one piece of music. We'll apply that, write it in, and it says nothing to write because it doesn't recognize the fact that I've changed that. Okay, we'll have a look at that at the end. Let's just do the last one and see whether it actually all plays out of sync. So number 4, copy that. Lots of repeated notes in that one. We'll go into that later as well, why it's like that. Paste that in, change that to 9, write that, and we're all done. So if I now disconnect and that ESC3 with the different length hasn't saved properly, yeah, it doesn't look like it has. I'm going to just change that actually. I'm going to change that to 9 and just change one digit at the end. Change that to a 3, change it back to a 2, see if it actually applies that. No, let's find out. Sounds okay. I'd leave it like that. That's it. One more thing to do, very last thing at the end. You've got so many of these tunes online and you might find literally a dozen or so that you like and you want to chop and change between them and not have to do this over and over again. You don't have to. So if we reconnect to our into our flight controller, read the setup we've got, everything that we've just done, you can save it. So we go back in our music editor, this box down here, it will save it to a place on your hard drive. So if we just type Africa, you can type in whatever you want. Type in Africa, hit the save button. That's now saved. So at a later date, we plug in a different quad or even the same one and you want to chop and change the music, have a different tone every week or something, when you hit this little arrow, there's a list, and this is the list of all the stuff I've put in so far. So there'll be a list, and you can literally just pick one of those and hit the upload button, which is the one next to save. It's a pretty poor picture actually, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it says load music script file, and it will load it to all four, so you don't have to do them individually this time. All four loaded, apply that, it will rewrite that back onto the ESCs, and then you end up with back to where we started, ready for my next video. So I hope that helps people to get some idea of how to put music on the ESCs and to have some real, well, fun might not be the right word because it's quite arduous actually writing this out yourself, but to have fun with it, making up your own music or taking some sheet music and transposing it to a form that the music editor on here recognizes. We'll follow that up in video 2. So bye for now and happy flying.